Testing, testing. There we go. We back on. Tonight we're talking about complacency. They had a funeral today, and the horse-drawn carriage that was shut down the block. Okay. How's y'all day, man? The day was a good day. It was rough for me coming back. I was in the cab for about damn near 3 hours, man. My butt was hurting. It's hard when you know, you got that broken bone. It's hard. Sitting down for a long time. Yeah, here we go. Like I said, tonight's topic is complacency. Complacency keeps you stuck in survival mode instead of stepping into growth. It makes you accept good enough instead of pushing through discomfort needed for real healing. Here are 35 ways it sabotages your progress. Now, I want y'all to pay attention because complacency is something that you don't want to do when you're trying to build. You know, you only get complacent when you've made your mark. Um, but so many people are complacent. Like I always tell you, a lot of people are comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that has to stop. You have to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable so you can be comfortable with being comfortable one day. All right, here we go. One, you stay in toxic relationships because it's easier than facing the pain of leaving. And you're probably wondering why, what is this guy talking about? I thought this program was called TACC, Through Adversity Come Change. It is right here. Through Adversity Come Change by me, Rich Coleman. It's on Amazon. And you have the workbook on Amazon and the Kindle. But it's only through your adversities you make the changes because if you don't go through the adversity, you won't know it's a toxic relationship, and you wouldn't be wanting to leave. Number two, you numb out with distractions instead of sitting with your emotions. A lot of people are scared to sit down with themselves. Like I tell you guys, things don't change in peace. Things change in chaos. Of course, it makes you think, makes you sit down with yourself, makes you evaluate your life. And this is what it's about. Like I tell you guys, I just want everyone to win, but you must heal first. You must learn the lies from the truth. Because like I always tell you, you can heal and still be lied to, and you'll still go down the same road. But once you know the lies from the truth, then person can't no more. You avoid therapy because unpacking your trauma feels too hard. Through adversity come change. You got to face your fears. The wall, fourth principle. You can't run from it. You can't go over it. You can't go under it. You can't go around it. You must face it. You must go through. And a lot of times we our own worst enemy. Um, I was speaking with a couple today when I was going to Juma, and hopefully they're listening tonight. But we had a really good conversation, you know. And the beautiful thing about TAC, through adversity come change, it applies to all kinds of things. Because we all go through adversities and we all need to make changes in our lives, but it's not going to happen until we put the work in. You got to put the work in. Until you put the work in, it's nothing going to happen. Trust and believe that one. You settle for a job that drains you instead of chasing work that lights you up. Once you embrace your journey, you never work a day in your life because you're going to find something you love to do. It's simple. Life is not that difficult. We make it difficult, but it's not. Number five, you stop learning new skills because you're too old or too busy. You're never too old. Look at me. After going what I went through last year, I got two books out and a Kindle and a podcast. So just know that it's never too late. I'm starting over fresh at 61 years old. And I guarantee you, inshallah, if it's only the will of God, by 2030, I'll be where I need to be, inshallah. You know, and that's my goal. And I'm working towards that. Number six, you ignore your health until small problems become big ones. Can't be complacent with knowing that things are wrong with you and you don't check them. One thing I do, I go to the doctor a lot, but my brother uh that just had the stroke, he's like that. He waits till things get bad, then he checks on it. That's something that my mother used to get on him about when he was young, because he didn't like going to the doctors. And I spell complacency wrong up there. What is what it is. Um, but that's something that we especially black men need to stay on top of our health. Number seven, we reply you reply old stories about why you can't change instead of rewriting them. Look at me, like I said, 61, starting from scratch and rewriting the book. Got 30 apps, devices, business concepts I created. You know, I got I got I have like I said, two books and a Kindle on Amazon and a podcast. You know, so these are things that we have to get on top of. And I thank God that I don't streak in that because I have quite a few things that I need to check on. You surround yourself with people who enable your excuses. Like they say, you want to know about a person, check out his friends. It tell you a lot. And if they're enablers, that's not a good thing. That's yes man. I don't want nobody around me who's not going to help me to grow. I have man, woman, and child. And this is about complacency. And I spelled it wrong on there, and I apologize to you guys. Uh, you say maybe someday, but never take the first step. Being complacent. Can't be complacent in this life, especially what's going on now. Right now, with with this computer and AI and all that, man, it's so many different ways that you can try to do something for yourself. Just try it. Trust me. Look at me. I'm 61, trying new things, doing podcasts, writing books, helping people to heal. At 61, if I can do it, anybody can do it. Number 10, you compare yourself to others and decide you're already behind. That's a deep one there. You know, once you heal, you're never gonna compare yourself to nobody. You're just gonna do what you gotta do. You stay focused on you. And this is why I do what I do, because it's not about nobody else. It's about me, period. It's about living right, doing right by me. I don't have 61 more years to live. So I know that, I'll be in my grave, in the next whatever, whenever he called for my soul. But I want to live the rest of my life righteous. And that's what I'm going to do, inshallah. You fear 11. You fear failure so much that you never try. The only shot you miss is the one you never take. We have to get out of that mentality of fearing anything other than God. Try it. You know, you learn from your mistakes. Like I tell you, when I did multi-level marketing, they had a speech. You got to go through your nose to get to your yeses. So you should be happy to go through your nose. Okay, whatever that means, I got you. Number 12, you get comfortable in your comfort zone and forget how to grow. A lot of people are stuck these days. And like I was explaining to the husband and wife today, when we get complacent, we let so much go by, and then once it's gone, we be like, "What happened?" No, we have to do what we have to do. You have to get out of those comfort zones. You have to be uncomfortable with being uncomfortable. But right now, most people are comfortable with being comfortable. And like I said, there's so many layers to how they do things to keep us mentally, physically, spiritually downtrodden, that we have to make full circle. We have to go through the whole thing. We got to unlearn, relearn, heal, learn the lies from the truth, and help others. This is what it's all about. 13, you stop setting goals because you don't want to disappoint yourself. You can never disappoint yourself if you try. And there's really something wrong. And if you're disappointing yourself, even if you try, a try is not a failure. A failure is not trying. Always understand that. A failure is not trying. You rationalize things small by saying, at least I'm not as bad as whoever. And that's the mindset. That's the complacency mindset of worrying about others. It's about you. It's through adversity comes change. Like I was saying to the brother today, your adversity shape and mold you to who God wants you to be if you pay attention. Like my adversity shape and mold me to who God wants me to be. I have adversity just like you have, but ours are different because our lives are different. And what you have to understand is that, you know, you have to embrace your journey in order for you to grow in life. Because if you keep fighting it, how can you ever win? Number 15, you let one bad day turn into a bad week, month, year. That's you know, that's more of a victim mentality than anything. And we can't do that. How can you make changes? You don't go through the adversities. Number 16, you avoid people who challenge you to be better. That's complacency. And see, when you got people who challenge you to do better, those are not yes men. Those are people who say, no, no, let's do this. You understand what I'm saying? And them are the kind of people you want in your life. You don't want people in your life uh, who just let you do anything or tell you anything. That's not a real friend anyway. You stop meditating or journaling because it's not working fast enough. In life, right? In anything in life, you got to be patient. Anything in life, you have to be patient. And everything works out in time. Everything is in God's time. And what you got to understand is that it's not in our time. It's His will, whether you understand it or not. It's His will, and it's going to be whatever He wills it to be. But you have to prepare yourself to be ready when He puts the opportunity in front of you. This is why you go through your adversities. This is why you have to embrace your journey, so you'll be ready when the opportunity comes. You choose short-term relief over long-term freedom. A lot of people do that. They want to take the shortcut. I did it for years. I did it for years. And you know what I figured out? Shortcuts only leave you short, excuse me. That's all shortcuts do. They leave you short. It's the one that goes up that hill and endures all of that stress until he gets to the top and then God blesses him. That's what it's about. You believe your past defines your future. And this is a big mistake people do. And this is why they be stuck in the past. And I challenge you to look at it this way: your past is only a measuring stick of the things that you liked in life and the things that you didn't like. The things you like, you keep. The things you didn't like, you make barriers and boundaries. And the people who love you will respect your boundaries, and the people who don't respect you, they will try to go over your boundaries. And then the people that you let out of your life, a lot of people just want people in their life, but that's low self-esteem. I had it myself, so I know I wanted to be wanted by people who didn't care about me and used by people who didn't care about me. But now, no, like I said, everything starts and ends right here. Period. So your past does not define your future. Your past is a measuring stick for your future. If you pay attention, you wait for motivation instead of building discipline. I've been guilty of that myself. Say, man, I ain't motivated. Sometimes you just got to do. It's like Nike, just do it, and you'll feel better. It's like days you don't feel like working out. Those be the best days you work out. Just do it. You make your identity around your struggles instead of your strength. Your struggles are your weaknesses. You work on them, but your strength, if you build your strength, your struggles will be lessened. You know, so it's about choices. Like I said, your choices shape your adversities. Your adversities are your lessons to get you to your blessings. It's up to you. You know, we have to stop being complacent. and start doing. Because look what complacent has got us. Look what's going on in the world. That's complacency. You stop networking or seeking mentors because it's too much work. Like I tell you, when I got the diploma in science success, Think and Grow Rich, and the Napoleon Hill Foundation, the thing that stuck out to me is the one who always makes it is the one who goes the extra mile. Just being regular, you're going to get regular stuff. So you have to put the work in. This is what it's about. You got to put the work in. Nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. You got to put the work in. You avoid vulnerability because it feels safer to stay guarded. Sometimes you got to step out on faith. I'm going to say that again. Sometimes you have to step out on faith, but you have to have a relationship with God to do that. And this is why the first principle of this platform, or this program, is God. It's 5 principles, 3 articles, 1 healer. The healer is helping everyone accept, achieve, and appreciate love. But the 5 principles, the first one is you have to understand there's a higher power, God. Until you get that, you're not going to heal because you think you got everything down pat. I've been there, done that. You tell yourself, this is just who I am instead of evolving. I try to be better every day, the next day, better than I am today. And that's what it's about. Starting a marathon, it don't come with fast running. It comes with a first step. You got to take that first step and just keep putting one foot in front of the other. You procrastinate on self-care until burnout forces you to stop. How many people do that? Ask yourself. You stay in environments that reinforce your old patterns, people, placing things. When you want to change, you got to get away from all that, because if you don't, you're going to fall victim to your old habits. And it's here. You got to want to not do it. And when you don't want to do it no more, you're not going to put yourself in positions to where you can do it. This is what healing is about. This is what finding your peace is about. This is what about bracing your journey. Once you're on the right path, you're not going to do things that are going to hurt you because you already know that pain already, and you don't want to suffer that pain no more. You have to pay attention to life, and when you pay attention to life, life gets better. Trust me. You give up after the first setback instead of learning from it. Got to go through your nose to get to your yeses. It says it takes 10,000 hours to become a professional. So if you got one setback, that's just a few hours, if that. So you got to put the work in, baby. You choose familiarity over possibility. Let me say that again. You choose familiarity over possibility. You let fear of the unknown keep you from exploring your purpose. Only way you're gonna find your purpose is you have to explore the unknown. You have to do what you ain't been doing. The only way you can win, baby. You stop dreaming because reality feels too heavy. Yeah, life gets tough, but you got to be tougher. It's only through adversity change takes place. Like I said, things don't change in happy times, they change in chaos. You just got to understand, man, what what your chaos is and how to deal with it. Period. You settle for surface level healing instead of deep transformation. Say that again. You settle for surface level healing instead of deep transformation. You just put a band-aid on. You don't want to heal. You know you need stitches and you put a band-aid on it. That's what that's like. You avoid feedback because you don't want to hear the truth. You can never heal in life if you don't want to hear the truth. The truth will set you free. There's a reason why they say that. That's just not a saying. And like I tell you, embracing this journey with me, going through your adversities and making the changes, I guarantee you, when you get on the other side of healing, you're gonna thank me because you're gonna see how great the peaceful feeling is once you learn the lies from the truth and live your life in a positive light. A lot of things you're not going to even do no more because it's not going to feel good. Trust and believe that. You make busy your excuse for not doing real work. That's when a person doesn't want to change. They stuck. You lose touch with your why and drift through life. What I tell you last night, your why. It's about your why. The only way you're gonna win is you gotta have a why. And your why gotta be stronger than all the bullshit that you're going through. See, my why is strong for the simple fact that I know that I have to start from scratch at 61 years old and I have no family. So I have to really do what I need to do to get to where I need to be so that I can do what I want to do for the rest of my life. And that's to help people and live life righteously until God calls me back. Period. No problem with that. You lose touch. Yeah, you lose it. And last but not least, you accept mediocrity because excellence requires too much effort. And the bottom line, complacency feels safe, but it quietly kills your potential. True healing and purpose lives on the other side of that discomfort. Just think about that. True comfort lives on the other side. Like I be trying to tell you all the time, man. Where I'm at in my life, man, it's a blessing, man. It's God. Period. You know, there's no way I could be at peace the way I am after going through all the things that I've gone through. That's only by His grace. That's only by God's grace. That's only by His grace. So the whole thing is, man, we have to learn to come out of these small little things that go on in our head because God has a bigger picture for us. And it's only through our adversity change takes place. But we must embrace our journey. The only way we're going to make it in this life is we have to embrace our journey. We have to stop being afraid to do the right thing in our lives. We have to stop being afraid of uh, wanting to be with people who don't really have your best interests. We have to learn to just do the things that we need to do, know we need to do so that we can grow. This is what it's all about. It's about healing. It's about winning. It's about helping everyone accept, achieve, and appreciate love. And this is my whole thing. I want us to be able to talk about any subject and not be a debate, but to help each other to grow. Because me coming on here every night, it helps me to grow. I have to put together a speech, or a sermon or whatever every day so I can have something for you guys. I can talk about the book 1,000%, but then I have to break down little small things to help you to understand why it's so important to embrace your journey and having to have patience and doing the right thing in your life no matter what, because God is watching, man. We only on this earth for a little while. And if you don't get it right, it's not going to be nice. I just want us to win. This is what it's all about. Together we win. United we stand, divided we fall. They win because they're united. We lose because we're divided. And what you have to understand is that they've put different layers and layers and layers of things in our way so that we can't come together. And once you understand and go to the root of what everything is, it makes you want to change. It makes you want to do better just to make life better for yourself. And this is what it's about. Doing the right thing no matter what. It's only through our adversities change takes place. And the only way we can get to where we need to get to is we have to heal, learn the lies from the truth, come together with one common goal and accomplish it. Period. But you guys have a blessed night. It's been a good one. And I'll be at you tomorrow with something else more interesting. Y'all have a blessed night now. You hear? Peace. Tac man out.